Hi, and welcome back to Astounding Anecdotes. The year was 1972. The sun was shining over the turquoise waters of Fort Lauderdale, but beneath the surface, a plan was being set in motion that would haunt the Atlantic for over half a century. It started with a question that sounded like a stroke of genius. What if we could turn our trash into a sanctuary? At the time, the world was drowning in old car tires. Meanwhile, marine biologists were desperate to find a way to encourage coral growth and boost fish populations. A local non-profit, backed by the US Navy and the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, proposed a solution that seemed foolproof. They would take 2 million discarded tires, lash them together with steel clips, and sink them 65 feet deep to create the world's largest artificial reef. It was a celebration. More than 100 private boats joined the Navy's minesweeper to dump the rubber cargo. To christen the project, a gold-plated tire was dropped from a Goodyear blimp into the depths. Everyone cheered, believing they had just solved an environmental crisis. But as the celebratory bubble settled, a terrifying reality began to drift in with the tide. For a few years, the Osborne Reef was hailed as a success. But the ocean is not a stagnant tank. It is a living, breathing force. Deep beneath the waves, a chemical reaction was taking place that no one had accounted for. The salt water was hungry. It began to eat away at the metal clips and nylon ropes holding the 2 million tires together. One by one, the bindings snapped, and that's when the sanctuary turned into a monster. Instead of a stable structure for coral to cling to, the tires became 2 million loose projectiles. When the first tropical storms hit, these tires didn't just sit there, they began to migrate. Massive underwater currents transformed the rubber piles into a rubber avalanche. They didn't grow life, they destroyed it. The tires began to roll across the seafloor, acting like giant rubber wrecking balls. They smashed into the fragile, ancient natural reefs nearby, crushing the very coral they were supposed to protect. The scientists watched in horror as their gift to the ocean began to wipe out the local ecosystem. But the worst was yet to come. By the 1990s, the disaster had reached a breaking point. Tires were no longer just a problem on the seafloor. They were appearing on beaches as far away as North Carolina. The military was eventually called in, not for a war, but for a massive salvage operation. Divers found a wasteland. Instead of a vibrant reef, they found a grey, barren desert of rubber where almost nothing could grow. The cleanup was a nightmare. It cost roughly $17 per tire to remove them. At that rate, cleaning up the entire mess would cost tens of millions of dollars, money the original nonprofit simply didn't have. Today, over 50 years later, the ghost of Osborne Reef still lingers. Despite decades of effort by Navy divers and environmental groups like 4Ocean, hundreds of thousands of tires remain trapped in the sand, shifting with every storm, waiting for the next current to carry them toward a new reef to destroy. It serves as a grim reminder: when we try to fix nature with a shortcut, nature often has a way of throwing it right back at us. Coming up next on Astounding Anecdotes. If you thought 2 million tires were a disaster, wait until you hear about the town that was swallowed by a fire that never went out. Until then, choose to be happy and astounding. Thanks for watching.